It's been said that the first $100,000 in your portfolio is the most difficult to accumulate. It appears to take forever when annual profits are small, totaling far less that you could earn by working. However, once your portfolio reaches a certain size, it starts to snowball significantly. This causes the following $100,000 to arrive considerably faster. And as your money begins to compound, the first $1 million will arrive much sooner than expected. Instead of examining your investments and feel like you are making no progress, focus your time and effort on areas that will provide you the most bang for your buck. When you take the right actions, you will be surprised at how quickly your portfolio expands. This video gives 9 strategies to help you save your first $100,000. And listen carefully for one technique which will free up a significant part of your budget. You will be surprised at how much you can save. If you want to improve your financial future, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is useful. Number 9. Tax plan. You may not realize it, but taxes are one of your most significant personal expenses. Why not minimize that load if you have the option? Contributions to an IRA or 401k are tax deductible, so you will get a tax break if you use them. When you do not have to pay taxes on the money you are contributing, you will be able to reach the $100,000 mark much faster. By investing in one of these tax-advantaged accounts, you will avoid paying immediate taxes and your funds will grow tax-free. If an employee earned a $50,000 salary and contributed $10,000 to a 401k, their taxable income for the year would be $44,000, assuming all other factors were equal. In 2023, most people can save up to $25,000 in 401k and $6,000 in an IRA, allowing them to drastically cut their taxed income, while ROTH IRAs have advantages as well. Using a 401k and an IRA can help you build your savings at a rapid pace. Number 8. Leverage 401k match. Employer matching of your 401k contributions means that your employer matches a portion of your annual contribution to your retirement savings plan. If your workplace offers a 401k, your employer will typically match 50 cents for every dollar you put, up to 6% of your salary. This means that if your annual income is $50,000, you may invest $3,000 and your employer would match $1,500. Well, it is not a tremendous sum, but it is comparable to earning a risk-free 50% return on your investment right away. Number 7. Earn extra income earmarked for investments. It should come as no surprise that the simplest method to save and invest more money is to earn more. However, frugality has its limits. You can only save so much money, but there is no theoretical limit to your earnings. Consider launching a side hustle that will allow you to generate additional money for investment. When it comes to creating your own small business, the possibilities are unlimited, and many of them allow for flexible schedules. Working a side hustle for a few hours on weeknights or weekends can significantly improve the amount you can save. By bringing in more money rather than merely reducing spending, you can support your investments without having a significant influence on your day-to-day living. This is critical since you will be more likely to stick with it if you do not feel deprived. Number 6. Reinvest dividends. When you start receiving dividend payments simply for owning a stock, it can be tempting to spend that money. You have just received a paycheck and your investments are paying off. Perhaps you can use it to treat yourself to a great meal out or to start arranging your next vacation. People appreciate dividends because of the cash flow they generate. But while deciding what to do with that free money, keep your goals in mind. Reinvesting dividends rather than collecting cash is one of the most significant things you can do to boost your stock market profits. It is tempting to spend your dividends on something exciting, but reinvesting them in the company or fund that earned them is frequently the greatest move you can do. Examine the dividend reinvestment effects S&P 500 returns. With dividend reinvested, the S&P 500 has returned 10.7% over the last 100 years. According to market data, If those dividends had not been reinvested, the average return would have been only 6.6%. That is a significant difference. Number 5. Buy low-cost investments. When trying to reach your first $100,000, it is crucial to keep your investment cost as low as possible. Fees for your investment often come in two kinds: trading commissions and expense ratios for index funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs. Brokers used to collect a fee every time you made a transaction, which was normal practice. Trading is almost always free now. Thanks to emerging low-cost choices, companies do, however, charge expense ratios, which vary. This is the annual cost of owning an index fund or ETF. Index funds and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, that track the performance of a benchmark, such as the S&P 500, are the same product from one company to the next. Because these are all made equal, you should choose with the cheapest choice. The expense ratio for Fidelity's S&P 500 fund is 0.09% of your total investment, while Vanguard's S&P 500 charges 3% of your whole investment for a similar product. Number 4. Don't buy and sell. It is scary when your investments lose value. You may be asking if the market will ever recover in this situation. What if, as the market falls, you sell everything to try to reduce your losses? Selling at the top and buying back in at the bottom would be an excellent strategy to lock in profits, while also obtaining a discount. However, doing so successfully is nearly impossible. Average investors who have attempted this in the past frequently do not reinvest until it's too late, and they have missed out on the most of the profit. Do not be concerned with the market's performance when you are accumulating your first $100,000. Sometimes it will produce excellent returns, and other times it will leave you in the red. Instead of micromanaging your assets and worrying about every market shift, focus on putting as much money away as possible and planning for the long term. Are you enjoying the video so far? Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. That will surely help us a lot. Number 3. Choose right investments. Paying no attention to what you're investing in will cost you a lot of money, since you will miss out on potential growth. Investors that are just starting out should prioritize making high returns. Yet, it is very normal for someone to open a 401k and have no idea what they are investing in. Increased returns come with higher risk, but when you are only investing a small amount of money, would it truly impact your life if the investment fails? This is not to say you should gamble with your money by buying speculative equities and odd coins. Simply put, a greater focus on growth. Unlike someone who has already accumulated a sizable nest savings and is planning for retirement and is more concerned with capital preservation. By establishing a diverse portfolio, you should be able to produce a significant yet fair profit. Investing in a fund that tracks the S&P 500 is a great approach to accomplish this. This means you will be a part of the success of fast-growing firms like Apple and Amazon, as well as owning around 500 other stocks from a variety of industries. Another option is to invest in an S&P 500 growth fund, which offers many of the same benefits but focuses more on growth. Number 2. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Inflating your lifestyle to match your income is a proven way to never go ahead. Did you know that the average millionaire saves a whopping 64% of their earnings? Almost everyone is tempted to spend more money or live a more extravagant lifestyle as they begin to earn more money. They suddenly believe they are entitled to a newer, fancier car and should dine at finer locations. Spending tends to rise to new meat wages. But falling into this trap will focus you broke for life, with little possibility of ever getting ahead. Though every time you get a raise in pay, you feel as if you deserve to spend it all. You will never be putting money aside for investments. Instead of falling into this trap, save the majority of your raise. This is particularly necessary while your portfolio is small, as the majority of your funds will not come from interest. They will be funds that you yourself invested. This single behavior is possibly the most important reason why the rich get richer. Number 1. Cut housing costs. If you are like most individuals, your single highest expense is housing. After you pay your rent or mortgage, utilities, and other connected bills, it may appear that there is a little left over. Even if there is, it is unlikely to be significant while trying to achieve $100,000 because housing tends to consume a large percentage of your budget. It is a good idea to think about ways to cut or eliminate this expense, at least temporarily while building a portfolio. These are numerous options for doing so, such as living with roommates, staying with friends and relatives in a mutually beneficial arrangement, or relocating to a lower cost area. Even house hacking is less expensive than you may assume. When you cut or eliminate this expense, you will be surprised at how much extra money you have at the end of the month to set aside. When you are just starting out in the investment world, attaining the 100,000 barrier can be overwhelming. Fortunately, there are numerous things you can use to accelerate your path toward the $100,000 mark. Implementing these behaviors from the start will set you up for years of wealth creation, allowing you to become more and richer without ever having to worry about money. If this video was helpful for you, please do consider subscribing to us and hit that bell notification icon so you will never miss out on our future content. That's all for this video. See you in the next one.